Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. In today's video we are going to be talking about how to rebloom a Miltoniopsis orchid. I'm going to give you some care and cultural tips on getting yours to rebloom as well. This one I've had for about 4 years now, and it has probably 15 or 20 pseudobulbs on, which has led to this year it having about 8 to 10 spikes. They're beautiful, they smell kind of like roses, and it's a very rewarding orchid, as you can see from this little pot here. It's a 6-inch pot, what the size of the actual plant can be and how the blooms will spread out. So to get started, let's talk about the light for this guy. Light requirements for Miltoniopsis are going to be quite low. It's going to live more in the shadows. It's not going to like full sun. You'll notice the leaves, depending on the color of the leaf, is going to be whether I move it into more sunlight or out of sunlight. So if your leaves are starting to go kind of a yellowy color, I would pull it back out of the sun and darken it up, maybe in a semi-shade area. On the other hand, if your leaves are deep dark apple green, you're probably going to want to move it more into the sun, and that way it's going to have enough energy to bloom like this. So the other thing that Miltoniopsis orchids like is a lot of moisture. This one is actually dripping in my hand right now, just like that. I never let the media dry out. The media is a combination of small bark, perlite, a little bit of medium bark I can see in there, and I actually do a top dressing of sphagnum moss as well, and it just kind of retains some of the moisture. Now at the same time I have it in a clear pot so I can see what the roots are doing. The clear pot has slits in it, so although it's always moist, there's lots of airflow to the roots as well, and even though it's always moist, it does dry quickly. It's better to have to rewater more often because your plant is drying out than always have it soggy and sitting in water like this. If your plant doesn't have the correct humidity, and these guys like a high humid environment, they're going to imagine sort of a mossy, shady forest that's always just slightly damp and humid. If they don't have enough humidity, you're going to find your leaves are going to almost accordion as they grow. And these little wrinkles, although they're unattractive, they're not really going to hurt the plant. Once they wrinkle like that, you're never going to get those little accordion wrinkles out. But at the same time, it's just sort of a warning sign that maybe you should increase your humidity. You can increase your humidity just by naturally spraying it, or by maybe putting a pebble tray underneath of it, or getting an ultrasonic humidifier. If you're in a greenhouse like I am, then humidity is generally not a problem. As for temperature on these guys, they are a cool grower, believe it or not. I know a lot of people grow them in their homes and on windowsills and stuff like that, but these guys come from a high altitude. They're going to like it cool, cloudy, and really anything above 80 is going to make them stress out. An ideal temperature for these guys is about 70, 75 degrees with very high humidity and sort of a bright cloud cover. So what else can I tell you about these guys? So we talked about watering, we talked about media, I talked about sunlight with them, I talked about humidity. The spikes I don't bother actually spiking or staking the spikes, I just sort of let them grow. So you can actually see it hang out all over. Flowers last for about 4 weeks. This is one orchid that I like to leave in the greenhouse. A lot of my orchids I bring in and put on display, but I find the lack of humidity in my house really just knocks them out, and it'll make a 4-week-old bloom die almost instantly if I was to take it in the house. So it gives me a little bit more life on the orchid there and the flowers. They bloom once a year. Usually about this time of year, end of summertime. Then they start to go into the growth phase, and they actually grow through the cooler months of the year. And in the wintertime, if you follow my channel at all, you know that I usually bubble wrap it up. There's a lot less light because I live on the west coast there, so it's often cloudy. And I'll grow these even under fluorescent lights in the greenhouse to give them enough bright light to make sure they have good growth. And they set their spikes early. They set their spikes in early spring. So once the growth is mature in the wintertime and the days start getting longer, usually around Valentine's Day, that's when you start to see the spikes come out. They do take a while to actually get into bloom like this. Now this one, it's been in bloom for a good month already, and I can't think that it's going to last a whole lot longer. Some of the flowers aren't quite looking as pretty as they once were, but all in all, for the display this year, I think this orchid has done pretty good. I don't necessarily like to divide my orchids. I like to keep them big, strong, and healthy as sort of a collective group of pseudobulbs. Usually every year each pseudobulb will produce 1 to 2 new pseudobulbs, so the plant is going to be getting larger every year, and every year just makes for that much more of a fantastic display. I repotted this last year, so you can see it still has a bit of growth space left around here. So I'm probably going to not repot that this year, and it'll be every second year that this guy here gets repotted. Anyways, yes, so that is my Miltoniopsis that's in bloom right now. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you want to see more videos like this, please subscribe to my channel. And as always, thanks for watching.